Hey, I'm Ollie from studiobro.net, and in this video I will show you how you can compose this trailer song. Have fun! Okay, in this video I will use the studiobro libraries MTRXA Big Nuts Pad and MTRXA the BRAAAMS, and I want to show them to you real quick. So here we have MTRXA Big Nuts Pad and it sounds like this. Really nice sound, I like it very much. And here we have the typical parameters for synthesizers. So you have envelope for the amp and envelope for the filters. You have two FX units and you have different filter types you can choose. A little quick tip that also works with most of the other third-party libraries. You can right-click with your mouse on one parameter, and then you can click Learn Midi CC Automation, and if you click that, you can move a fader. I'm moving now my modulation, and here we see when I move my modulation, the filter cutoff is also moving. And now I can play with my left hand and move the filter with my left hand. Yeah, that is really handy, and this sound is really versatile. If you just change the velocity a little bit and maybe use another filter, and yes, let's use another FX. Yes, we started with the pad and now we have a lead sound or whatever. Yes, this was the MTRXA Big Nuts Pad, and here we have MTRXA the BRAAAMS, and this is a typical good sounding BRAAAMS sound. Yes, and here also if you change the amps a little bit, the envelopes, I'm sorry, and yeah, then play it again, maybe a little bit more delay, a little bit more longer reverb, you have this. It almost sounds like a short pad. Yes, these are the two studiobro libraries that I will use to build the trailer music, and now have fun. Okay, let's go. We want to start with the BRAAAMS, and we want to play a filtered line, so we filter the sound down. Yeah, and first of all I want to record a note. Then when I recorded it, I want to cut it, edit it to the correct length, and then I want to copy it. Let's make another copy. And now I will open up the filter cutoff. And here will be a break, and then this will be the intro. And after that, the main, let's say, melody starts. And here we're gonna have a crescendo, so that means we're gonna put down the cutoff of the filter, and then we have this repetition, and then we, while this plays, we will open up the cutoff again. So now I quantized the MIDI notes, and I make a legato so that they are all played together, and then I fixed the velocity to 127. And now I'm recording, I make a new track, a data track, and there I will record the modulation data, so the filter gets modulated, and we will record that now. Yes, I did not record the filter correct, so I'm correcting this right now. I want to be it a little bit later, so the full power, let's say it like that, should be a little bit later. Yeah. So now it's perfect. Sounds great. Okay, now let's put in an impact. So we will have an impact sound on the beginning of the track, and then every, I think, 8 bars. Yeah, I like number 3. And now I'm routing it to the right group, EFX group. I put it in the right folder, EFX folder. Now I'm setting the right color for the track. I'm checking the right volume. Like that. Now I make copies. Like I said, every 8 bars. And on the break. Okay, let's go on and edit the Big Nuts pad that we loaded before. I want to play a little bit with the filter, envelope and cutoff. That sounds good. So let's add a little bit more reverb. I'm using an external reverb plugin. Oh, here now I'm here, right? I already loaded it in my template. I will make a template tutorial, and I think I will link it at this. But I used the Lexicon. I think it's a PCM native reverb bundle. And there I loaded the long reverb from Lexicon, and I really liked it. Okay, I did not record it, but Cubase reminds things when you play. When you just play things, Cubase remembers that. Oh, this is our studio doc. And then you can, in German it's called rückwirkende Midi-Aufnahme. I will write down in the video how this function is called in English. So now I'm editing the recording, so there was a false note, and now the pad plays in legato. Okay, I want to have a compressor on the pad because I want to, compress the volume a little bit so everything sounds nearly the same volume wise. So therefore I use a compressor, and I use the distressor. It's an emulation of the distressor from UAD. Yeah, I set the volume of the compressor, the output volume, so that it's the same volume that I have when I don't have a compressor on it, so I can really check what I'm doing and I'm not lying myself. Okay, now we want to also write an automation, a volume automation for the Big Nuts pad, because the compressor is not enough for me. I have to correct it manually also. Yeah, I start a little bit lower. I think I like that. Okay, let's use the Big Nuts pad, but build a compressor out of it. So I load up a new instance of Contact, and I load up the Big Nuts pad. I open up the cutoff, and I think I will edit the envelope a little bit, the volume envelope. Yeah, and the filter envelope. Yes, I shortened it a little bit. And with that, Big Nuts bass, let's call it like that, I will play the same line that the Brahms is playing. And now I want to fix the velocity to 127 because I want to be, or 26, I want to be the bass always as loud as it gets. Okay, now I'm making a marker where the big parts start, because I'm always searching for the big part for the beginning. So now I make a marker. Yeah, there we go. I created a marker and now I call it the big part. Now I'm renaming the tracks. So Big Nuts Pad 1. And here we have Big Nuts Pad 2, what is the bass, the bass. Yes, I like that, but I want to edit the Big Nuts Pad bass bass sound a little bit. Yes, I want to be a little bit, have it a little bit more attack. and I want to edit the filter envelope a little bit. So the sound should have a curve where it starts fast and then filters away slowly. I like that. Now I also want to write some modulation data for the Big Nuts bus. So I again will create a data track, Big Nuts Pad data. I will then use the right Midi channel, what is 1. And now I can record the modulation data. Yes, I like that. I also recorded the crescendo on the end. Now I want to introduce a second, let's call it intro pad. With the Big Nuts pad I played a little intro pad synthi line, and I want to double this with another sound, and for that I'm using UHE Zebra. In fact, I'm using Zebra HZ, what means Zebra HZimmer. This is like a sound library for the synthesizer plugin that was built by Hans Zimmer and his team, especially for the Dark Knight movie series. And these are the original sounds that they used for the movies. And I'm going to choose the Blue Glass preset, but I will edit it to my needs. So now I'm copying the Big Nuts pad, but it's not working, and I'm guessing why. And now I know it is not working because of the modulation data on the original track. It was here I erased it. It was a little bit too low. So now I fixed it, and I wanted to have a little bit more modulation on the sound, and I thought, oh, let's use the shaper box, but in the end I didn't use it. I erased it again, and then I added modulation with the Zebra filters itself. So I modulated the filter cutoff with an LFO. And I used LFO 3. Now I'm editing the sound to my needs. It's always a little bit try and error. I mean, I know what I want, I have the final sound in my head, and I know the tools that I have and that I can use, but still, like I said, it's try and error. You always have to see how you get the target that you have in your mind. The sound, the final sound. And I used 16th notes for the modulation. Later I will change this to, I think, 8 triplets. Oh, no, I will keep that. No, I'm sorry. I'm talking about another sound that we will learn about. Here I added a little bit more reverb. Again, the lexicon reverb. Okay, now I want to edit the sound a little bit more. It starts a little bit too hard for me, and I want to have more an evolution of the sound, and therefore I edited the filter envelope. Yeah, I used envelope. Oh, this is envelope 1, but I added a new envelope. And I modulated the filter cutoff with that. I used envelope 2. Yeah, like I said, it's always a little bit try and error. Yeah, I like that. Now renaming the track, and I write down blue glass edit, and I write it like that because so I know that I used a preset and I edited that preset to put it to my knees, and then I'm color coding the track again, and now I'm starting to add some drums. And I start with a big hit. Yeah, I like that. Now I'm quantizing it and fix the velocity to full, and I also make it legato so that it plays together all the time. Now I want to add a compressor to give it a little bit more presence. And before I do that, I add a little bit reverb, again lexicon reverb, and now I add a compressor, and I used the Fairchild 670 for that. It's also an emulation from UAD. I'm searching the plugin a little bit, and no, it's not there. It is there. Gracious. Okay, here we go. Fairchild 670 is the stereo compressor, and I really like it on drums. Not only on single drums, but also on groups of drums. Again, I'm fixing the volume so that it's the same with or without the plugin, so I can compare the two versions. I like that, but I want to have a little bit less bass in that sound, and for that I use the Console 1. Console 1 is an external controller that is controlling plugins, and that's what I'm doing now. You see the plugin that I'm controlling? I just cut a little bit bass, but I did it not with my mouse, but with the external Console 1 controller. Now I want to add a second hit that plays the same, but has a little bit more bass in it and a little bit more button end. Listen to it with and without it. Sounds good. Now I want to add one more drum to give it a little bit more beef, and I will play a different line, so I record this. Yes, I like that. Now I have to edit it. So first of all, I'm quantizing it. And here I have two different timings. So I have a straight timing and a triple timing. So first of all, I'm selecting the straight timing. I will quantize this then, and then after that I will quantize the triplets. Yes, these are straight. And now I will quantize it. And now I will select the triplets and also will quantize them. Something is wrong. Let me fix that. Okay, now it's fixed. Okay, last but not least, the last note also quantized. Now it's ready. There's one note that's a little bit low in volume, so it sounds a little bit strange. This one, the first one here, yes. Now it's better. Now I'm fixing the velocity of the start of the really important hits to 127. And now I will EQ and compress that also a little bit. I want to give it a little less bass, a little bit more highs. High frequencies, I mean. So now I'm cutting the bass a little bit. now I will add some high mids and highs, again with the SSL plugin from Softube. Without and with. Now again I want to add the distressor to compress it a little bit, to give it a little bit more beef. This is a little bit too much for me, so I will reduce the ratio to 4:1. I will reduce the overall volume of the drums a little bit. Yeah, I like that. And now I will add a crash. Pump up the volume. Okay, I like that. Now let's edit it. Quantize it. A little bit more reverb. Yeah, there's a mistake. This is a little bit too early. Yes, now it should be right. Okay, now let's add some more deep drums. Yes, just copy. This has a little bit more bass and more button. Okay, now let's add some short strings. Yeah, I like that. Let's record it. Great. Let's edit it. First of all, let's search for some mistakes. Because I made one. There it is. Okay, now I will edit the velocity to a really low value. That's because I'm using Cinestrings here from Cinesamples, and the lower the value, the shorter the notes. And after that I will edit the delay a little bit to give it a little bit more timing, because the Cinestrings library on the shorts is a little bit late, and I gave it a little bit minus in the delay. And now I'm recording more high strings. Okay, I made a mistake, but I like the beginning, so quantize it, erase it, and again. Great. Quantize that again too, and then paste it together and now edit it. So again, velocity to a really low value. And again, no, the delay already is on -40. Now let's record some deep strings, let's say bass and cello. And I use the same patch, synth strings, but another instance. I loaded another instance on Kontakt. Yes, I like that. Let's edit it. First of all, I am editing the modulation, so it's loud from the beginning. And also here I have to put the delay on -40. And I will copy it 1 octave higher to have cello and bass. Okay, now I'm setting the final volume for the high strings also. A little bit more reverb on the high strings. And now I'm again creating a data track for the strings where I will record the modulation data. I'm starting loud and then in the break I will go down now and also make the crescendo in the strings, in the high strings. Okay, now I will record some high FX strings. So for that I will use the second violin's spiccato from East-West Hollywood strings. And I just will play a straight line. That was so creative. And now I will add some distortion. Okay, first I will quantize it, then I will add some distortion. Oh no, then I will also edit the delay. I think I will give it a delay from -10, yes, right? So that we have a good timing. And now I'm adding the distortion, and for that I'm using Saturn from FabFilter. A little bit too much highs. Yes, I like that. So let's go on to the trombones. And first I thought I will play short trombones. While I'm recording it, I then decided to play sustains, but I started with shorts and then edited all to sustains. And I'm using Cinebrass from Cinesamples. Yes, I like that. Let's edit it. Oh, here again I did not record it, but then I used what Cubase has saved in the background. And as you can see, I first played it in shorts, then I decided to play it sustained. Now quantize it. Made it legato. Here too, legato. Okay, now I again create a data track and record the modulation data. Now before I did that, I decided how loud it should be. Here again I played the crescendo with the modulation data. Okay, what I did now, I now edited a sustain pedal to the notes because Cinesamples libraries are working like that. If you don't press the sustain pedal, you are playing shorts, and if you press the sustain pedal, you are playing sustain. I like that. Okay, now let's record a horn. I'm using, again, I tried to use Cinebrass, but then in the end I ended up with Hollywood brass from East West, because I find them a little bit more epic and yeah, it sounds a little bit bigger. And I'm playing a solo line, but I am using a section. Again the crescendo. Okay, let's record some trumpets. Here now I'm using Cinebrass again. Yeah, I did not record it again, so I again used what Cubase has saved in the background, and now I'm editing it. And here is the same, I have straight notes and I have triplet notes, and first of all I'm setting the velocity really low, because as I said, Cinebrass libraries are working like that. And now I have to quantize the notes. Again, I have to set a negative delay. I'm using -20. Here is a mistake. Again, a mistake. Yes, I like that. Alright, let's add some other notes. I just copy that and then edit the notes where I want them. Yes, I like that. So let's go on and add a synthesizer bus, a synth bass. And let's create that sound with Steinberg's own Cubase plugin Retrolog. Okay, let's route it to our bass group. Great. Put it in the bass folder, name it, and hopefully also color code it. I didn't color code it. Let's choose the right waveform. I choose pulse, and now I am modulating the pulse width via the LFO1. Okay, for oscillator 2 I'm also choosing pulse, and I'm also modulating the pulse width, but this time with LFO2. I'm now detuning the two oscillators just a little bit. And here I use oscillator 3, also detune it a little bit. Now the sub bass. And now I want to edit the filter envelope a little bit. And again, I want that shape like I did before with the Big Nuts Pad bass. Sorry. And now let's add a little bit more noise. Give it a little bit more presence. Okay, I like that. Let's distort it a little bit. Again, I'm using Saturn from FabFilter. That sounds badass. Now I want to give it a little bit more resonance, but I made a mistake and add even more distortion from the synthesizer itself, but I think it sounds good, so. Yeah, I like that. So now let's edit it a little bit. First of all, let's quantize it. Now let's make it. Yeah. Let's end it correctly. Okay, first of all, let's make all legato. Now I'm checking if the volume is correct. And I like it. Let's make the track for the automation for the filter cutoff visible. And now let's modulate the filter cutoff. Here again we have to put it down and then make the crescendo to the end and open it up again. Okay, now I'm copying the value of the first note and copy it to the end because I like that. This is too fast, too short. Let's make it a little bit longer. That is even not long enough. This looks better. Yes. That looks good. Let's see how it sounds. Great. Okay, let's add a Synth Riser. And also, let's sound design it by ourselves. We again using the retro log from Steinberg's Cubase. And we again using pulse. I'm loving pulse because you can modulate the pulse with. But first of all, let's add it to the synth group. Again, I'm modulating the pulse with LFO1. Oscillator 2. Again, pulse and pulse with modulation. But this time LFO2. Yeah, again, let's detune it a little bit. Also make it an octave higher. Both of them. And add oscillator 3. Again pulse, but not in the same octave. And modulate it via LFO 3. I'm searching for the parameter here. Now I have it. This sounds good. And sub oscillator. Also pulse. And ring modulation to give it a little bit more aggressiveness. To make it a little bit more aggressive. Yeah, sounds almost like a lead. And spoiler, we will also use a variation of the sound later for a lead, or as a lead. Now my plan was to build up the riser via the pitch bend. And we can pitch it up by 24 halftones, and later I will set it so we can also pitch it down 24 half notes. Semitones, sorry. Now I'm recording it. And then I will edit it. Okay, now let's add a frequency shifter effect. And I'm using the freak shifter from Melder Productions, What is Freeware? And I'm searching now for a cool preset that I like. And I thought this is a cool effect for a riser. Now I wanted to have more modulation. And first I thought I will use an external effect, but then I decided to use the internal modulation, and I will modulate the cutoff via the LFO 4. And here I start with, I think, 16th. And later I will decide to edit it to triplets because it fits more to the rhythm of the overall track. Now again, it's a little bit try and error to find the right sound. I like that, and then I checked, let the click play to check if we are still in sync with the DAW and with the song. Now I dived back the frequency shifter a little bit, so that we have a little bit more tonality. Okay. Now I wanted to add a flanger, and this time I'm using definitely the flanger from Melder Productions. Again, it's freeware. like that, and now I want to make it a little bit wider, and for that I'm used from Soundtoys Microshift. You definitely check out this plugin. It's an, you could say, emulation from the H6000 from Eventide. Okay, now I want to distort this also a little bit, and guess what? I'm using Saturn again from FabFilter. Okay, now I'm open up the cutoff automation track, because I not only want to pitch it up to make it a riser, I also want to modulate the cutoff. I will want to start with the closed cutoff and then open it up, and here I edited the pitch down to 24 semitones like I said before. And now I'm adding the pitch shift, the pitch band. Yeah, and now I'm searching for the right length of this effect. And it took me a while. There, I thought I have it, but I didn't. I heard that, and that wasn't feeling right. That didn't felt right. Yeah. Here I changed the timing of the modulation to 8 triplets. That was the right timing. Or that is the right timing, but still the length of the riser wasn't right. Then I thought maybe I should make it even longer and let it end in the big part. I was a little bit frustrated on this at this time, but sometimes it is like that. Okay, so now I make it a little bit longer, and then my plan was to, yeah, fade it out with the filter cutoff. Didn't felt right. And now I tried to mute it in real time just to try it. And I thought, yes, this feels right. So I added automation track for mute. Here I tried to select this track, but it didn't work. Again, I was a little bit frustrated. But yeah, now it worked. And I could edit the mute automation. I needed a little bit earlier, but I could not move the point to the right position because, yes, this guy was interrupting, and now it should sound right. What I did now is I added some reverb and delay. I again used the lexicon for the reverb, and I used the internal ping pong delay from Cubase. And the good thing is I edited the reverb and the delay via aux sense, so they are still playing after the main sound is muted, so they are playing a little bit into the break, what sounds really cool in my opinion. Yeah, I like that. And for the presents, I'm adding another riser now. In fact, it's a noise riser. So I again loaded a retro look, and I wanted to have a noise. Here I reduced the modulation a little bit first, and now I'm building my noise riser, so I'm just loading up a noise. Yes. And my plan was to open up the cutoff. I just recorded a note and now make it a little bit longer. First quantizing and then make it longer, yes. Again, I am opening up the cutoff automation track. I'm searching for the right value that I want on the end. Yeah. Okay, I want to add a ring modulator. Again from Melder Production. And again it's freeware. Not every plugin from them is freeware, but I have the freeware suite on my computer, and I really love to work to use it. Sounds good. Again, we want some reverb and delay. I like that. Let's check how it sounds together. Yes, I like that. What I decided now is that I need this tone that the risers are building also in the big part. It felt like something is missing there, so I added the noise riser also to the big part and reversed it, and so it's more like a noise crash now. Yeah, here it's more like a noise crash. Okay, now let's use the Riser 1 sound and build a lead out of that, because it's the same principle. I had the feeling that something is missing in the big part, because we introduced so much high frequencies and beefy frequencies with the risers in the break before, and I had the feeling that these frequencies are missing now in the big part. So I also used the riser. I loaded another instance of it and edited a little bit, and now played the main line also with the riser. Yes, I like that. Quantize it and edit it. Okay, now let's edit the filter envelope a little bit to again have this envelope where it starts fast and then slowly reduces the filter cutoff again. Sounds good. Let's make it legato. And I try to shorten the notes because they are overlapping and the envelope has to start again with every note. If it doesn't, then the cutoff slowly closes over the whole track. So I erased the false note, then I shortened it, and then I pressed legato, and now with every note the filter envelope is starting again new. Okay, now I'm adding another marker that says end, so that I know where the end is, because I wanted to again use the riser. But here I edited the automation a little bit. I changed the volume automation and I am erasing the filter automation now, because it sounds a little bit too muffy. I wanted the filter cutoff to be open all the time. So I'm just erasing this. I like that. But now let's cut some bass frequencies. Yes. so we don't have that problems there. Okay, now last but not least, add a choir. And I'm using Hollywood choirs from East West. And here I used a woman choir. And I just played the right notes, the accords that are playing. Yes, and my plan was to also make it crescendo. Okay, but before I make this crescendo, let's EQ the choir. And I also always, when I use a choir, I always reduce the bass frequencies. I cut the bass, then reduce some mid frequencies and add some high frequencies. So here now I'm cutting some bass. Reduce this mid frequency. Reduce this mid frequency. And now I load up another emulation from UAD, and this time it's the Pultec EQP1A, and here I add some high frequencies. I really like that sound. Okay, color coding it, adding a reverb to it. Again, lexicon. Sounds really nice. Okay, now I'm adding modulation for the volume modulation. Again, I'm adding a data track, a Midi data track, where I can record the modulation for the choir. Choose the right Midi channel. Yes, here we go. This is it. Now we composed our trailer song. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, this little tutorial. And please subscribe to our channel if you like our content. And please go to studiobro.net. Check out our sample libraries, our plugins that will hopefully coming soon. And yeah, if you have any questions or something else, please write down a comment. We are always happy to hear from you. And yes, I wish you a nice day.